Marcus Carlson joins me now. Marcus, we're going to start by talking about Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, because he wants to show that his country is open for business.
He wants to do so indeed. Hi there, Tom. Hi there, everyone. The Russian president has pledged to support the oil firm Shell, and he did it in front of TV cameras in a very obvious fashion, meeting with the Anglo-Dutch company's chief executive outside Moscow a little bit earlier. Shell wants to expand a natural gas project in Russia's Far East to hike exports of gas to Asia. The EU and the US have imposed sanctions against dozens of Russian and Ukrainian officials and investors. They've pulled billions of dollars from Russia on fears that the economy will take a hit on the possibility of further sanctions. Recent surveys show that business confidence in Russia is at its lowest level since 2008.
The entire project will have the most positive influence on further expansion of Russia's presence on the world energy markets. It will stimulate the economy on the whole and our energy sector. I congratulate you and all our partners.
Russian President Vladimir Putin speaking there a little earlier. We're going to head to Greece next. Easter is considered as the most important holiday during the year for Greek Orthodox believers. And this year, the holiday coincides with growing hopes that Greece's long-running crisis will come to an end. Economists say that 2014 looks set to be the year when the economy stops shrinking after 6 straight years of contraction. But for retailers in Greece who are looking for some much-needed relief during Easter, business is still being dragged down by the crisis.
It's the main event in the country's Orthodox religious calendar, and shopkeepers in Greece are hoping this Easter customers will loosen up their purse strings.
People want to shop, but they don't have enough money. They buy fewer things just for the occasion. Things are a bit difficult, but there's a good mood.
Greeks are traditional. We do not change our habits easily. But things are simply not how they used to be, that's for sure.
Greece hopes to put a 6-year recession that shrunk its economy by over 20% behind it, and there have been signs of improvement. The government expects a 0.6% GDP growth rate for 2014. Key indicators have also been positive since the start of the year. The private sector started showing signs of growth in January for the first time since August 2009. And just last week, the country returned to the bond markets after 4 years. However, the positive signs have yet to trickle down to the high street.
It is difficult. There are a lot of difficulties because there have been a lot of cutbacks, salaries and pensions have been reduced. It's difficult for some to make ends meet, but let's hope that there are better days coming.
2014, however, is unlikely to be a game changer for Greek retailers. Private consumption forecasts show an uptick expected only in 2015, and estimates indicate that 35% of the population is at risk of poverty or social exclusion.
Okay, this is usually when we give you a snapshot of the stock markets, but those markets, they are closed on both sides of the Atlantic this Friday because of the Good Friday holiday, of course. We can bring you a few other stories that we are keeping an eye on for you, though. Oil exports from Iran have risen dramatically. An Iranian government spokesman says exports have almost doubled in 8 months to 1.2 million barrels per day. The increase follows the election last June of President Hassan Rouhani. It comes ahead of expected talks with Western powers over Iran's nuclear program next month. Western sanctions have hit oil exports hard, and they've tumbled from 2.5 million barrels per day in 2011. The board of Italian bank Monte dei Paschi di Siena has given the go-ahead to a plan to raise €5 billion. The lender will be selling new shares, hoping to avoid a nationalisation. The bank needs to pay back a €4 billion loan from the Italian government by year-end. The lender accepted that loan last year to stave off bankruptcy. And the world's biggest retailer, Walmart, is delving deeper into financial services. It's introducing a money transfer service for customers in its US home market. Walmart is pledging to cut fees by up to 50% compared with other companies. The move is seen as a play for Americans who have limited access to financial services. A survey in 2011 showed that 29% of American households didn't have a savings account. Now, we talked about Easter in Greece earlier. Let's also show you some pictures from here, from France. And this is one for the chocolate lovers. These are the creations made by some of France's top chefs when it comes to chocolate. There you go. Easter is a big business for chocolate makers, as around 5% of all sales happen during the holiday, at least here in France. French people, they consume more than 4 kilos of chocolate every year. That's not much, though, in comparison to places like Germany and the UK. Germans consume, on average, 7.5 kilos of chocolate every year, whereas the Brits, they eat all of 11 kilos a year. Speaking of British people, here's Tom for you.
I think I'm far above even the British average. I'm probably more like 100.